Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the John Q. Hammonds Arena on the campus of Union High School for this regional championship matchup between the Sand Springs Lady Sandites and the Union Ladies basketball team. Now, Union's coming off a dominating performance in a 54-38 victory over Bartlesville just a couple of nights ago. And I want to talk to you, Casey Jordan, as I welcome you in about the dominating performance that Coach Redmond's squad had and what made them so dominating in that show of force, if you will, against Bartlesville.
Honestly, it was the full court press. I mean, I say full court because typically it didn't get past half court, but, they spent a lot of the time in that full court press, and I think they ended the game with around 25 or 26 steals, but 19 of them came in the first half. So, I mean, it was just, the pressure that they put on, and it was relentless. They never stopped, and, I mean, whenever Bartlesville could get past half court, they had some success, but it was just getting it past half court was where they struggled, and, that was, the biggest thing was the full court press.
So, and we also saw Coach Redmond use just every one of his players on Thursday, a testament to how he and his staff has prepared this team and how these ladies have stayed in shape in what was almost a 3-week layoff right before the playoffs. But Sand Springs, we played them at Sand Springs. We beat them by 13 on their home court, but is there a similarity issue where they've seen us before? They know what to expect. Now we're on their court. What do we expect out of Coach Barry and his Sandites this afternoon?
You played each other, so you're familiar with one another, but it's also the playoffs. Anything can happen. You got to take the regular season out. It's no longer there anymore. You're all pretty much 0-0 at this point. So, you come in, you know what to expect, you know what they're going to do, but you hope to be able to attack it and, have some creative things to attack that full court press, because I'm sure we're going to see it again tonight. So if they can do that and they can get it past half court and set up their offense, they should have a pretty good game plan tonight.
So it's the regional championship Saturday at Sand Springs and Union, and that's coming up next right here on the Union Sports Network.
For today's OSSAA 6A Girls Regional Championship game between Sand Springs and Union. At this time, we ask that you please rise for the playing of our national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, and the home of the brave, home of the brave.
And now for the starting lineup for our visitors, the Sand Springs Lady Sandites. At 5'9", a sophomore, number 1, Journey Armstead. At 5'5", a freshman, number 2, Sakari Wilson. At 5'11", a sophomore, number 4, Haley Jackson. At 6'2", a junior, number 21, Lainey Kirkendall. And at 5'8", a senior, number 23, Darian Jordan. Head coach for Sand Springs is Joshua Berry, assisted by Amy Shackelford, Jordan Evans, and Brad Malum. And now for your Union starting 5. At 6 foot, a junior, number 0, TK Pitts. At 5'10", a senior number 10, Kaylin Nelson. At 5'9", a junior number 14, Mackenzie Malum. At 5'10", a senior number 24, Jordan Connor. And at 6'2", a junior number 45, Sydney Smith. Head coach for Union is Joe Redmond, assisted by Jim Stacy, Sean Davis, and Taylor Sells.
Well, it's not March yet, Casey, but madness has begun here at the UMAC as Sand Springs and Union are getting ready to face off in this regional championship. Welcome back on the Union Sports Network alongside the one, the only Casey Jordan. I'm Jim Douthit. And Casey, we talked about it in the opening a little bit, but I want to talk a little bit more real quick as we're getting ready to tip off here. You said something about Sand Springs. You said everybody's, it's a new season now. It doesn't really matter that Union came into their house and beat them by 13. So what do you think? What do you think right off the tap? What do we want to see?
You want to Union likes to push the tempo. So if you can get Union to slow down and get you to play their game, that's where you're going to get them off balance and kind of moving. You've played them before, you know what to expect. So it's being able to attack that. You got a little bit of a size disadvantage, but if you can find open lanes and move the ball around, that should be a good key for them tonight.
Off the tip-off, Sand Springs controls. Wilson checks back with her coach Barry. She'll look for a play to draw something up. Not a lot of movement by Sand Springs right now. Now they seem to start getting going. Armstead around the far side. She'll hand it off far side. Look for a lane, nothing there. Bring it to this side, kind of bobbled the dribble, but got it back to Wilson. Now Wilson directed some traffic there, can't get it inside like she wanted to. She'll drive it herself. She's going to go in, take the circus shot, can't get it. Malum's going to push the pace. She's got Pitts on her. That side gets it to Pitts. Pitts will slow it down. That's probably a good call.
Yeah, you want to pull that out. You didn't really have a good open lane there, so it was a smart play to reset and go from the top.
Old Dominion product in Kaylin Nelson. Turnaround jumper doesn't go. Nice hustle by Connor. And that's going to be a jump ball. Nicely called by Stripes. Great hustle there by Connor to keep that ball in play. TK will take it out here. Malum will set it up. Nice defense by the young lady in Wilson. She's a freshman starting for Coach Barry's squad on Sand Springs. There's Pitts inside. Can't get the floater to go. Nelson with the rebound. She'll try and put it up. She can't get it to go. Connor hustling again to the ball, and she keeps it in. Connor showing some hustle here early on, Casey.
Connor has so much of a Dennis Rodman game style. She's not going to lead you in points every night, but one thing she's going to do is give you hustle and rebounds.
TK Pitts for three. Bang, and we're underway. Great ball movement there, and I tell you what, that 3 points is because of the hustle Connor had on that side of that end of the floor.
100%.
Now Wilson will set it up. She's directing a little bit of traffic. A lot of confidence in Coach Barry having that freshman out here leading this. Now there's a steal by Pitts. And Armstead's going to get charged with a foul as she definitely tried to block TK's path to the ball, I'm assuming.
Yeah, whenever you kind of got to give a little bit of space. I mean, as silly as that sounds, you can't just go in, shoulder out. So, they got her with a foul there, and she didn't seem too happy with it, but it was a good call.
Now Malum up high to Connor. Now Connor will drive it in. She's double teamed there, gets it up and in. Double teamed, and she gets the shot off and away. And she's on the board with two. Just underway here at the UMAC on the campus of Union High School. Thanks for joining us on the Union Sports Network. Alongside Casey Jordan, I'm Jim Douthit. Nice little move there, and one. Lane Kirkendall with two, and she'll get to go to the free throw line and shoot the bonus.
Yeah, it looks like that's what they're going to kind of go to tonight, a little double screen action with a pick and roll on the bottom side of it.
Definitely want to use that 6'2" frame that that Lane Kirkendall has to their advantage would be Sand Springs. There's Kaylin Nelson for three. Can't get that to go. There's Jordan with another rebound, and she'll get fouled underneath. And I think you said it perfectly. You're not going to get a ton of points out of Connor, but, man, she has been all about the defensive side on the offensive end, if you will.
Yeah, she's not the tallest girl out there. She's only 5'10". I say only like that's not tall, but when you have a 6'2", 2'6'2" girls out there and you're out rebounding both of them, that's hustle.
Yep. Connor will go to line and shoot. 2. Can't get that one to go. Lachey Morris checks in, I should say, for the first time. 5'8" junior. For Coach Barry's squad. And Wilson gets to take a seat. Now Connor can't get both of those to go. Sand Springs will bring it up. I said Wilson had a seat. I am misspoken. It's Armstead that had a seat there. My apologies, folks. Early on, Union not letting anything inside, not even anything close to inside. They're having to work the perimeter for sure, Casey, and that bodes well. I mean, you got somebody that's 6'2", and you can't get the ball to him underneath. That's a good sign for Coach Redmond's squad.
Yeah, they were looking for a little bit of a backdoor cut back there, and Union did a phenomenal job of stopping it and not letting them get there, using the baseline as another defender.
Malum and Nelson did a good job getting it up. Now Connor will get it on the baseline. Drive, nice move. And Jordan Connor is a force to be reckoned with early on here in this first quarter.
I believe she heard me say she's not going to lead you in points, and she said, watch me.
That's probably a possibility. You and I have the advantage of being right here next to these young ladies, and the other thing is I think both of our voices carry pretty well as that ball's thrown wildly out of bounds. Janiyah Hendricks got to check back in earlier, and I didn't mention her name as she checked in. TK Pitts got to have a seat. And now the aforementioned Hendricks will bring the ball up. She'll set it up. Hendricks to Smith. Smith looking inside to Nelson. She'll give it to Jordan. Jordan will stutter step over to Malum now. Well, that was a nice little move. Inside to Nelson. She's going to get hacked. No call, but yeah, the second time. She got hacked on the first one. He missed that one, but definitely got the second call. So Nelson will go to line and shoot 2. While we've got a minute, hey, the Union boys last night, Casey, won their opening round game over Putnam City West 43-39, and they move on to play Del City at Del City in the regional championship out west, with that game tipping off at 7 p.m. tonight. So Coach Garcia wishing him and his boys the best of luck. And we just hope that that team that played last night shows up tonight.
Yeah, that was kind of their key all season, was inconsistent. And, if they can ever find their rhythm and be consistent day in and day out, they're a tough team to beat. So,
well, I think part of it is kind of what these ladies are. These girls are athletic, and that's how those boys are. They, Coach Garcia's really depends on their athleticism to do things, and Trent Pierce and Fuller and the rest of them.
Yeah, athleticism can really only get you so far. You have to execute to a certain extent, and when those boys are executing, they are one of the better teams out there. It's just getting them to do it on a consistent basis has been their downfall this season.
So the debacle there underneath the basket, and Coach Barry gets his timeout. We'll take a quick timeout as well. You're watching the regional championship game right here on the Union Sports Network. Welcome back. 3:24 remaining here in the first. Union on top, 9-3 as Coach Redmond goes with Malum, Nelson, Highshaw, Hendricks, and Sydney Smith in the backcourt back here. She was out of my view, and so I forgot she was on the floor. She was hanging out around the 6'2 junior and Lane Kirkendall, and that's probably a good call that she was down there watching her. Now Hendricks will take out the ball into Malum, and Malum will set it up with just over 3 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. Malum this side, over to Smith. Smith back to Malum. Boy, some really great defense by the freshman.
Yeah, she's a freshman going up a season, McKenzie, and she's not backing down. So that's a fight that you want to see, especially from a freshman not backing down and giving it everything she's got early on.
Boy, Nelson can't get it to go there, and some craziness underneath the basket, and Sand Springs comes away with it. Boy, that thing just rolled around and wouldn't fall for Nelson. Now Sand Springs back. Nice little jumper there. Can't get it to go. Rebound, Nelson. She's going to push the pace. Well, she was eyeing Hendricks the entire way up. She's going to take it herself. And Sand Springs will come away with the ball. Now it's 2-on-1. And look at the freshman going right after Malum, but Malum said, no, ma'am, you will not play that. And up ahead, nicely done there, as two passes, one to Nelson, one to Smith. And Union is now up by 8, and Coach Berry's seen enough. He'll take a timeout, and so will we. It's the Regional Championship Saturday right here on the Union Sports Network.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
As we're back here with 2:07 remaining in the first quarter, 11-3 Union on top of Sand Springs. It'll be Sand Springs ball out of bounds, and Morris will take it out for Coach Berry's squad there. Berry looking for the home run passes. Wilson was streaking. I don't know if she had some sort of, what the play call there was, an up and out, or I don't know what that was there, but just couldn't see her, but she was wide open.
Yeah, that's, they're kind of doing what Bartlesville did the other night. They're picking the ball up in the corner, and that's one of the worst spots you can pick it up at. And, Union's doing a great job of crashing and bringing, multiple bodies to it.
And again, we're seeing a lot of cross-court passes that we didn't see early on, but we're seeing them here. Now inside. It's all right. Highshaw's going to get called with the travel, and that happens. She moved her feet too often. I think she decided that she wanted to shoot, and then she didn't shoot it. Wasn't too sure what to do. There's the pass up ahead to Wilson. Wilson's going to drive it, and she slows it down. Probably a good call on her part. Slow it down, set it up. It's early. You're only down by 8 against a very good Union squad.
Yeah, Wilson, for a freshman, she seems to have a pretty good IQ for the handle on the court, and that's something moving forward that Coach Berry will be very pleased with for the next few years, having that experience.
They work it around the perimeter, can't get it inside. Now they try up against Connor there, can't get it to go, and Connor's going to come away with the rebound, and that's going to be a jump ball. That'll be a jump ball. That's going to be a possession awarded back to Sand Springs. Again, Connor not messing around as Bailey Cheney checks back in for Sand Springs, and Micah Hampton has a seat. And a late substitution here, Haley Jackson checks back in. And the 6'2" frame of Lane Kirkendall has a seat. That's probably good for Union. Great defense there. Gets it in, though. Nicely done. Almost got the 5-second there, but Wilson found a body and got it in to Miss Morris. Now they'll work the perimeter again. Up to the top. Back short side here. Puts it on the floor, dribbles, tries to look inside. Nice move. And the charge. Darian Jordan with the charge there. And we've got all kinds of substitution craziness going on now. As Tayana Morris checks in now. And Sand Springs trying a little full court pressure, and then they back off of it now as Nelson gets a hold of it. She brings it up 1-on-2, and she goes right around them. Takes a little 10-foot jumper, can't get it to go. Rebound there. Sand Springs gets it down. Haley Jackson, that 5'11" frame of hers, pulled it away from Connor. I think that may be the first basket or first rebound that Connor hasn't gotten on that side of the floor this time.
You're going to lose one every once in a while, but one thing you can bet on is she's not going to stop fighting.
Now with 9 seconds, 8. Wilson for the long three, can't get it to go. Rebound, Nelson over to Malum. She's got 4-3. She's going to throw it up right here at the end. And that's no good. But it's funny, as soon as she let that one go, she knew it wasn't any good. She's turned around and walked off, kind of shaking her head. 11-3, we'll be back with second quarter action right after this.
For more than 50 years, Central States Orthopedics and Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center have been the area's leading orthopedic and sports medicine providers. And now, we've joined forces as Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. One name, one focus. Excellent orthopedic and sports medicine care. Together, we serve as the team physicians for almost every high school and university in the region. We are the area's leading expert for work-related injuries, and our surgical hospital is the only 5-star rated hospital in Tulsa. Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. Come see why we're better together.
Well, welcome back inside the UMAC, everybody, for second quarter action. He's Casey Jordan. I'm Jim Douthit. We appreciate you joining us here on the Union Sports Network. So on the floor for Coach Redmond to start this second half, it's Pitts Malum, Connor Smith, and Hendricks. And if you're just joining us, Jordan Connor has put on a clinic from a hustling standpoint. Had about 4 points, I believe, and a ton of just great hustle early on that propelled Union to those 11 points in the first quarter, Casey.
Yeah, she's leading all scorers on both teams right now with 4 points. And, but the hustle is one thing that doesn't matter how many points she scores, that's one category in the game that she's not going to be beat in.
I think you've said it before, it's those things that don't always show up on the stat sheet that coaches are super happy about. Now Sand Springs gets it up ahead, and that ball's going to be into about the 5th row as Nelson checked back in for Union, and Hendricks gets to have a seat.
Yeah, that's one thing Sand Springs is really going to have to try to get in control of. They had 6 turnovers there in that first quarter, and that's one thing that's kept them from closing that gap. Union's not shooting too well, but if Sand Springs can get control of those turnovers, they could easily get right back into this.
They're going to need some things to carry on for sure. Malum hard to the basket, and she'll go to the line and shoot 2. Union will be in the bonus as well. So not the way Coach Berry wanted it to start, but let's talk about Union for a second. They've been 11 points. I'm not saying that's nothing, but it has been a little sloppy on the basketball side from their standpoint. They're shooting, I believe, as I look, only 30%.
Yeah, they haven't shot the ball well. Their defense is there. They've kept the full court pressure just like they did against Bartlesville a few nights ago, and it's been good defense. They've forced 8 turnovers so far this game. It's just on the other end of the ball they're being pretty sloppy with their shot selections, and but to Sand Springs they've closed the gaps very well. They've closed the lanes, and they're not allowing easy shots. So you got to give them credit there on that.
Penny comes in and almost got the 9th steal as Marshall Penny got to check back in, and there she is again, throwing herself around there, and nice hustle up ahead. 1-on-3. Boy, great pass there, but just can't handle it. The ball's going to be out of bounds, and Kaylin Nelson's going to get charged with the foul there. Wilson had 1-on-3 or 3-on-1, and it just, for whatever reason, it sure looked like Jordan just wasn't, or excuse me, not Jordan, I should say, Kirkendall wasn't even ready for that pass. You got to be ready for those things.
Yeah, honestly, it was a good pass. She maybe threw it a little bit too hard, but in those situations, you got to get it in, and the quicker you can get it to them, the better. So
now Wilson turns around and takes the jumper, can't get it to go. Pitts will get the rebound and get charged on the foul. Haley Jackson will get charged for the foul there, just a little bump. That seems a little ticky-tack, but it is what it is.
a little bit, but it's one of those that Coach Berry's not going to be too happy with, but you got to keep your emotions in check and keep playing, because that's the last thing you want to do is start arguing and start getting those calls called against you more often.
Now, it'll be interesting to see what happens, because we're already into the bonus, and we're just barely into a minute into this second quarter. But we've seen this team from time to time not make free throws, and just as I say that, TK Pitts hits the free throw. But that could be something that could be to the benefit of Sand Springs if they go to the bonus and Union can't make their free throws, which they didn't there, so they only got 1 out of 2 there. So we'll see how that plays out the rest of the game. Now Wilson again up and partially blocked there, and Smith will get charged with the foul, and that's probably a good call.
Yeah, Sydney didn't look too happy with that one, but when you have a 5'5" guard going in, a 6'2" guard, and she ends up on the ground like she did, it's pretty hard to not be called for a foul
Right.
there.
She got a lot of ball, but that's true. That's true.
But one theme that's been true all night tonight for Sand Springs is this freshman. She's not stopped battling, and she's not afraid to penetrate and find a lane and throw her body up there and not be afraid to sacrifice it. So
Right, especially against somebody like Sydney Smith or Kaylin Nelson, any of them. I mean, she's not backing down from any of our girls for sure. Now TK up ahead, over to Connor. Connor will put it on the floor and survey it. She gets it back to Pitts. Pitts over to Penny for 3, way off the mark, but there's Connor with a rebound. Now TK set it back up. Pitts there.
Sydney's going to have to get her emotions in check. She's not too happy. She had a one-on-one situation with a 5'3" guard, and she was hoping to get the ball, and she's pretty frustrated right now, so she's going to have to calm down a little bit and play within herself.
It was something that as she's walking right off, she knows Malum's going to check in for Smith. Smith not happy at all, and you can see her on the bench. Coach Redmond's over there just calming her down. It's one thing about Coach Redmond. He's not quite as demonstrative all the time as Coach Garcia is. He knows when to talk to his girls and get them calmed down. Now here's Wilson again. She's and a nice rebound there. Can't get it to go, but then Pitts comes in. She says, I'll have none of that. Pulls it down to the floor, and she pushes it back up to Malum up ahead. Nicely done. Transition basket there, and TK looking over the floor. That's awesome. TK almost comes away with that steal. She ends up in the second row here, the visitor side. Hampton checks in, Highshaw checks in. Hendricks has a, or excuse me, Penny has a seat. All alone, but nice hustle there. The girls got back quick, and a Union's gonna come away with it. Boy, that's gonna be something that Coach Berry's gonna talk about over halftime. She was all by herself, and she can't get that to go, and that was just the hustle of Union getting back.
Yeah, you don't miss those. You know, you have a wide open. She had 2 shots at it and missed both of them, and you know those are points you desperately need. So at halftime, it's going to be a conversation she's probably not going to like to hear, but
there's the ball kicked away, and that's going to be saved by the hustle of Malum to Nelson. I'm not too sure who that would have been out on, but Malum said, doesn't matter, I'm going to get that ball. And she does. She drives, can't get it to go. Rebound there by Highshaw and gets it back in. Aubrey Highshaw.
Connor should get credit for that steal right there. She had a very nice, clean pick, and that's what caused that ball to go flying out like it did.
Timeout, Coach Berry. They'll take a timeout, and so will we. 17-4, 4:46 remaining here in the second on the Union Sports Network. .446 remaining here in the second. Sand Springs gets the ball, and they're going to try to get it up. And there's, again, this full court pressure, Casey, that started against Bartlesville, and I know we've seen it off and on all year. It seems to have gotten better even with the delay in basketball that we've had.
No, it's one of those defenses that you don't see very often because, you know, with full court press, if you have a team that can really run and get it, they're going to break it. You know, not necessarily
Nelson for 3.
Relatively easy, but this is 2 games in a row that teams are really struggling to beat this press. And, you know, moving forward, that could be a huge key to Union's run.
And there's a reach-in foul. That's going to be called. Mackenzie Malum's going to get charged with a foul there. That's the team's first. Now both teams in the bonus. Wilson will go to the line and shoot 1 and 1. 20-4. And even though the lead says they're up by 16, I guess I'm not 100% happy with how Union's played overall. I don't know if that's accurate to say.
Yeah, I mean it's true. I mean, you know, sometimes the truth hurts. They haven't played well right now. They're pretty sloppy on the offensive side. Now, defensive side, they don't have any complaints.
Right.
I mean, they've held them to 4 points. They forced 10 turnovers, so that's not a defensive game plan that you're upset with. But on the offensive side, they haven't been, you know, themselves. They haven't took good shots. They haven't, you know, moved the ball like they typically do. So that's something at halftime I think Coach Redmond's going to address. But you know, you got a 16-point lead and the defense playing like they are. It's hard to be too upset with the performance they've put in right now.
And they're trying to slow it down a little bit and move it around. Now Malum over to Nelson. Nelson drives, looks back for Pitts. Pitts for 3. That's going to be off. Rebound Connor. And there's going to be a jump ball. Nice hustle there by Haley Jackson for Sand Springs to get the jump ball. And I believe that possession arrow is going to be back to Union.
McKenzie's going to have to be careful with that elbow. She's kind of starting to push off a little bit, and, you know, she keeps doing it and keeps extending that forearm. She's going to eventually get called for that.
There's going to be a reach-in foul there on Darian Jordan. TK will go to the line and shoot. 1 and 1. That could be a little frustration too from an offensive standpoint, and I like what you said. No real adjustments for Union on a defensive side, but offensively, you know, Malham's we're used to seeing McKenzie have 8 points by now, 10 points even, and really a lot of our kids, they're out of a rhythm when it comes to the offensive side, although they're up by 17.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the scoreboard's telling a different story than what you're seeing, though. Outside of defense, offensively, they don't look like they typically look. Even Malham, she's, you know, I hate to criticize her right here, but she just doesn't look like she's moving like she typically does. And, you know, some of that could be you have a 18-point lead, so it's hard to really fight and execute like you want to, but it's still, you know, it's not even halftime yet. You got to continue within yourselves and your game plan and keep moving the ball like you typically do and work on things.
Right, and that defense that you were talking about earlier just caused that turnover as Wilson stepped out of bounds. There's Nelson, little drive, pop and shot, can't get it to go. Rebound there by Highshaw. She'll kick it back to TK Pitts. Pitts will set it up. Now she's going to drive. Nice little floater. No, it does get it to go. Looked like that was going to carry him off the back of the basket, but it didn't. With 2:54 remaining, here comes Sand Springs. They're up ahead. 2 on 3. Nice little floater there, and one. Haley Jackson with the nice job here.
Good call. I mean, Malham went right into her, so.
Little conversation here as one of the Sand Springs players is really beside herself right now, I believe.
I don't know if she dislocated her shoulder, or it definitely looks like it's might be out.
She was standing right next to us, some major pain. I'm not too sure, and I didn't see it, Casey. I don't know if you did. You could tell what happened.
No, I know she was the one who threw the pass right here, so I don't know if she caught a body whenever she extended her arm, which possibly could have popped that out, or put a little strain on it. And
that's going to be Darian Jordan. It's going to go have a seat, and one of their assistant coaches is giving her a little bit of love and trying to figure out how to work it out.
One thing we haven't talked about tonight is Coach Berry's outfit. He's looking pretty snazzy over there right now.
So right before you showed up, Coach walked out here, and his players were warming up to your right, and they all stopped. And he's looking snazzy.
Love the shoes,
yep.
Love the suspenders, the bow tie. You know, that's a 10 out of 10 right there.
Rebound there by Pitts. 2:45 now remaining here in the second quarter. Almost said second half. TK Pitts up ahead. Nice throw in, but can't get it to go. And there is going to be a foul called. Highshaw's going to get charged for her foul. I think a little reach in. Jackson will go to the line and shoot 1 and 1. While we've got a second, let's talk a little baseball. Shall we, Casey? You know, Union Baseball, their season's starting, and their first home opener is going to be at One Oak Field on Monday, March 8th. First pitch coming at 5:30. We touched on it a little bit last night. What's it like, though, new audience that we're talking to, what's it like about those kids being able to play in a double-A field as nice as One Oak Field is?
Oh, it's a fantastic opportunity is what it is. You know, that's something every kid dreams of. I mean, they're in the batting cages. Their bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, down by 3, practice on hitting that grand slam walk-off. So getting an opportunity to play in One Oak Stadium where, the Tulsa Drillers play is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for some of those kids. So I hope they relish it and, take the opportunity and, really soak it in and have a good time.
It's a really good opportunity, too. I think, from my understanding, and Andy Irwin will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to try to stream that game as well. So that'll be something that will be pretty special for you and I as well if we get to pull that off. So more information, you can follow Union's Twitter account at Union_athletics. There'll be more information as that game gets closer. But we're not done here. Connor with a drive and foul. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. It's 24-7 right now. Sand Springs down by 17. There was a little bit of a conversation between their coach and the scorers table, and I'm not too sure what that was about. Any idea? Maybe a foul situation. I'd heard a fan earlier say something about Smith had 2 fouls, but I don't know. I mean, Sydney's sitting on the bench. I'm not too sure that's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm not really for sure. They could have just been getting an update on the injured Jordan, so it could be she might not be coming back, so.
Take her off, that kind of thing. Sure. Can't get the second and 2 to go down, and Sand Springs will push the pace up here. Inside drive, can't get it to go. Ball is going to be out of bounds, but rewarded back to Sand Springs as Nelson wasn't too sure. I think she could have picked it up, but Kalen allowed it to go, thinking it was going to be Union's ball. Armstead now throws it in to Wilson. Wilson goes to work. Boy, Wilson's got some nice moves. Boy, she is quick. That young lady is super fast. Now Armstead. Armstead with a high dribble. She'll drive. Nice little floater there over Jordan Connor. Now Nelson. Nelson dished to high shot. She can't get the 3 to go. It's going to be over the back on Connor.
That's some of that hustle that you get, but sometimes it leads into a foul. I think she got a little bit of an elbow on the trying to box out. So, that's a foul though that you're not upset about. She's trying to get a rebound. She maybe did a little bit of a hook instead of going straight up, but that's one that you look back at and you'll live with all day, every day.
Armstead with the first of 2. She'll get her second shot. Coach Redmond called his squad over right before she shot that first one and give them a little talking to, probably getting them to calm down. I think what we're seeing from this side is the frustration on the offensive side of the ball. And even though, this is a reminder, hey, ladies, we're still up by 13 and we're playing well defensively. The shots will come, and that's what he's talking about. Now to Nelson. Sand Springs starting to really come alive here and play some great defensive ball. Penny will pull it down over here to Nelson. Now Nelson, nice little behind the back move. She's going to get some help, and that help comes in the form of TK Pitts.
Been impressed with this freshman from Sand Springs. She's been on both ends of the court, just on fire, and something you don't see from an undersized freshman very often. So she's a little firecracker, and I'm enjoying watching her play tonight.
Ball will be awarded back to Union. TK with the drive, and it was tipped out of bounds by Kirkendall for Sand Springs. Now Nelson. Connor inside to Pitts, but Pitts will dribble it back up here. Then she'll go back to work. Little floater, and she'll get that to go. TK Pitts, with just under a minute to play, puts Union up by 15. Now Wilson. Boy, and the poise of that young lady, she was double teamed, and she got that ball out, but then, unfortunately, the ball gets thrown away by Morris can't handle it, and Nelson will get to go to the foul and shoot 2 as some of the Sand Springs fans come alive behind us.
Yeah, they haven't been too happy with the officiating, but, it's 10-10 fouls now across the board, so they've kind of closed the gap, and I just don't think they're happy with the foul selection.
Right. Foul selection. Look at you coming up with new terms. Nelson comes in.
It's good to see Jordan back in.
It's to see her back in, and she's working that shoulder a little bit. Sometimes you get, and we've all had them, you get those stingers, and man, you think your world's coming to an end. It's like hitting your elbow hitting your funny bone or something.
Yeah.
And that could have very easily been it. Now sloppy basketball continues, and it's just going to be free throws here for the last 40 seconds, it seems like. So while we got a second, I want to tell you that I'm hoping Kylie Hammock, senior here at Union, is going to join us at halftime and talk a little bit about what this young lady and some of her colleagues have been up to as they've started a school newspaper. It's all online, and we're hoping to talk to her for a few minutes during halftime. We'll see if she was able to get here. And the lead is 15 still for Union. Now Nelson, last 30 seconds. Casey, you probably want this to be the last possession of the game. Is that correct?
You would like to, but it looks like they're going to bring a lot of pressure, so it's going to be hard to
get it.
Keep that. You know, you wouldn't technically see a good shot right there. Try to drain a little bit more clock with the lead that you have, but.
Do you ever tell TK not to shoot, though?
No, you don't want to take the fight out of a fighter, but, you know, you also want a little bit more court awareness of what's going on.
Nice dish there. Wow, that was a great pass by Armstead to Kirkendall. And that was a great job. Now we get it back 9-8, 7 to play. Nelson with a turnaround, the Old Dominion product. Keeps the score up by 15. And Wilson will just hang on to it. So if we're fortunate enough to have Kylie Hammock, we'll have that interview coming up. If not, we'll be back with basketball in about 10 minutes. You're watching the Union Ladies basketball. It is the regional championship right here on the Union Sports Network. Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, inside the UMAC. Little halftime here. We got about 7 minutes, and I'm joined by the one, the only Kylie Hammock. And Kylie, you're a senior here at Union, and you've got some exciting things. You and I get to work together. You are an intern for GTR newspaper, the media group, but you and your colleagues started Union's newspaper. Why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I was pretty surprised whenever I realized that Union doesn't have a newspaper, hasn't had one for the last couple of years. So I decided that that'd be a good thing to start with my experience at GTR. Then I got that started, and just really looking to get out school events and news, because during coronavirus closures, it's kind of hard. We have the almost daily news, but you can't really watch that if you're not at school. So really trying to get that out, and then also elevate like clubs and stuff like that that don't always get a voice.
So how did this come about? Obviously, school newspapers, I'm old, okay? School newspapers, when I was around, everybody, all of the schools seemed to have one. It died out, but what was the original union paper that was around? Do you remember?
I actually don't even know. Like, I would have to go back and do some research on that, but I just knew that we didn't have one, and I didn't know why we didn't have one, so.
Now, it's all online, correct? Where can
Yes.
they find the newspaper?
So we're currently working on getting a website up and running. It's all student run, so we have to work on the website ourselves, but currently you can find the newspaper at UHS Today on Instagram. The link is in our bio. And if you're a union student or you have access to Canvas, then it's also in the Canvas activities section.
So that goes for all the parents out there that are listening to this, that watch their students and take care of their students on their Canvas page. They'll be able to see that as well.
Yes, yeah. There's a special section under Canvas activities, UHS activities, that says UHS Today, and it has all of our issues. And we're actually currently working with some translators so that we can have a fully Spanish version.
That's amazing. So issue number 2 is out now, is that
Yes,
correct?
the February issue is out now. It was put out on like Tuesday this week. So the next issue will be out in March. It's monthly for right now.
So tell me a little bit about, you say issues. What are some of the big, so if I was to pick up February's issue, what's the headline read?
So the main focus that we had this issue is actually Black History Month. We have multiple articles about black clubs around the high school and also the history of Black History Month. And then we even have one of our very own writers who interviewed a teacher about how they teach Black history. So we're really trying to highlight voices that don't always get heard in the high school and trying to commemorate the different events that come along in the month.
That's great. Now, I'm going to be a little selfish. I think you have a sports section as well. Is that correct?
We do have a sports section, and actually the February issue this month has a feature on the 2 basketball teams, the girls and the boys basketball team. So you can read more about specific players on the basketball team and kind of how they have dealt with the coronavirus challenges, but also what they do off the court as well. So we're pretty excited about that.
That's pretty neat. So how many different sections do you have? I remember, the newspaper always comes and there's multiple sections, so we obviously have a main section, sports section. Is there anything else? Is there a way that our students can write in as letters to the editor, if you will? Is there a way for them to reach out yet?
So we have a lot of sections. We have the main page, we have the College and Career Center, which has different advice for college and applying to scholarships and stuff like that. We have the sports section, the fine arts section, the activities section, which is traditionally written about leadership or other activities going around the high school. And then we have a current events section. And we also have a last section called the Club Classifieds, which is actually where different clubs around the high school can advertise their events and advertise their clubs and really get the information about that. But we're also looking to add new sections all the time. I think this month for March, we're going to try to add a comic strip. So
will that
always
be
looking for that.
something generated by our students?
Yes, all of it's student run, so
Right.
we'll have to find a specific artist for the comic strip, but we have some pretty talented students, so I'm really looking to highlight that.
That'll be great. Now, you're not doing this by yourself. Obviously, you and I have a great relationship in that you're one of my students, but who else helps you out with this?
Yeah, so I have a great team that I put together. A lot of it is seniors, just because I know my friends. I have Braxton Tempest, I have Megna that's helping me with the newspaper, and plenty of my friends that have come together for the newspaper. But we're always looking to add new members, and especially younger members, because graduation is coming faster than I thought.
Yes.
So we're going to need to build our junior and sophomore membership. So if you do want to join the club, if you're a student or you're a parent of a student, you can also go to the link in our Instagram bio at UHS Today, and there's a link to join the group me, and we'd be happy to have you.
That'd be great. Now, what about this? So I'm sitting at home, I'm listening to this great telecast, and I realize, gosh, I'd like to maybe advertise in this publication. How would I do that?
So if you want to advertise, if you're an outside advertiser that would like to advertise in our newspaper, you can actually email unionhighschooltoday@gmail.com. And all inquiries about business or just anything in general can be sent to that email, and we'll check that email and get more in contact with you.
There you go. So it's the great Kylie Hammock. Kylie, listen, since I met you back in July, I believe it was,
Yeah.
and you have been nothing but amazing. I know that everybody over at GTR Media is just excited about the things that you've done for them, and we're excited about what you've brought to Union. So congratulations to you. One more time, the name of the newspaper is?
Union High School Today. If you want to join or you want to read the issue, you can go to @UHS Today on Instagram, or for all other inquiries, you can email unionhighschooltoday@gmail.com.
She's the one, the only Kylie Hammock.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. You're welcome. We're back with second half action right after this. Welcome back for second half action here. Regional championship game between the Lady Sandites and your Union Ladies basketball squad. Alongside Casey Jordan, I'm Jim Douthit, and we're underway here. And as I look over the stat sheet, Casey, for the second half, you know, we've talked about it. Defense has to have been one of the great things that Coach Redmond's happy about, because his team's not shooting worth a flip.
Yeah, they haven't shot the ball very well. I mean, neither team really has, but, you know, with Union's defense, that's what's, you know, pushed their lead out.
Nice hustle there by Wilson. She'll get the steal after Sydney was double-teamed. Sydney Smith double-teamed underneath, but it's good to see her back after she got a little frustrated there in the second quarter and sat the remainder of the second quarter. There's a great turnaround jumper there. Armstead using that glass, and Coach Berry's squad came out ready to play off the steal, and they were able to connect, and that's something they haven't been able to do in the first half of this game. Now Pitts and Connor up high. Connor sets the screen over to Malum. Malum all by herself. Boy, can't get that to go. That's a surprise. Malum off the mark there. Boy, she was wide open. There's a steal by Nelson. Up ahead and can't get it to go. Connor laying out there trying to get up, or trying to get that ball, and Malum just had a little bit too much Gatorade underneath that one.
Yeah, that was a tough pass. You know, you had to go up and over a defender, and didn't leave Jordan much area if she did catch that. So that's one you'd like to see her just go ahead and continue to bring down.
Now up ahead. Ball's going to be out of play here. Long pass. And Jordan seemed to not let that shoulder bother her with that heave, that's for sure. Now Connor into Malum. Malum guarded closely there by Casey Jordan's new favorite player in Wilson. Now Pitts. Pitts to Connor, trying to get it back to Malum. She does. Malum drives the lane. Now to Nelson, back up high to Pitts. Yeah, and there's that elbow. You talked about it earlier. I think you were talking about it mainly with Malum, but there's Pitts throwing that elbow around a little bit.
Yeah, she's both TK and Malum. You know, they're trying to get separation, because, you know, that Wilson, even though she's only 5'5", she's sticking to him like glue. So they're trying to get a little bit of separation, and you can push the elbow out. You just can't extend the forearm, and that's what she got called with right there.
Now Armstead will bring it up, guarded closely there by Pitts. Now Armstead drives. She's going to get tripped. The foul is going to be charged to TK Pitts. Now that's TK's third. Even though she's got 10, that's her third, and she's going to quickly have a seat.
Yeah, she wasn't happy with that one, and I tend to agree with her there. I hate to sound like a homer. I mean, she had good position. She kept her arms to her side. She wasn't reaching in or forcing the defender out. So I kind of agree with her. I thought that wasn't a very good call, but it is what it is.
There's Connor back. She got the rebound and went straight to the hole, but couldn't get it over that 6'2" Kirkendall. That would be a tough challenge for anybody. Kirkendall using her size there to cause the turnover. Now Coach Barry's slowing his pace down a little bit. Bunch of players bunched up there. That was kind of awkward looking.
Yeah, I'm not quite for sure what kind of offense they're running right now. They don't have much movement. They're just they have two players standing around at the top of the key and just one back turn, one facing out, and just doesn't look like they have much flow right now.
And just as you say that, Armstead with a turnaround jumper. Nice job there by her, and the lead's only 11 now. And there's a steal and a foul. The foul's going to be charged to Armstead. And here's what I love about that sequence right there. You didn't see Coach Barry getting demonstrative about anything because he knows his team's cut this lead to 11. He's keeping his self-focused, which just keeps his team focused.
No, they've come out in the second half ready to play.
Nelson can't get that to go, and Sand Springs comes away with it. Now Wilson nicely slows it down there. She'll set it up. She's got Armstead to her right. Coach Barry directing some orders. Jackson comes back to this side, so it's Kirkendall's up high as well. And they're slowing it down for sure. Looks like I would think you'd want to get Armstead alone by herself right now and try to get her to shoot, because I believe she's got 4 of the points so far. Hendricks looking pretty mad about something. Sakari Wilson, the junior, gets charged. And Hendricks is going to come on over here and take the ball out of bounds right in front of us. Kind of like to see the snarl on Hendricks' face after Wilson fouled her. Hendricks is in the game for sure. Now Nelson will slow it down. Looked over to Coach Redmond for some directions. Now Smith. Smith's going to get it. She's going to drive the lane. Floater on a block. Big block there by Kirkendall. That's not going to settle well for Sydney. She doesn't get blocked very often.
No, she kind of went up a little soft with it. Didn't really extend, get a good arch on it. She kind of just went more with a low point on it, and that's something you can't do whenever you're driving in like that.
Hendricks gets charged with a foul, and quickly Union's got 3 team fouls. And Hendricks that's her third team foul. That's her third foul herself on Hendricks. So Highshaw checks back in. Hendricks has a seat. And awkwardly a little foul trouble. Nice play there into Haley Jackson. And the lead is now 9. And Coach Barry's squad slowly chipping back away at Union. Now Nelson, turnaround jumper, nice job there. The Old Dominion product. And maybe that'll fire up this Union squad. As quickly in, just a random shot up in the air, and Malin comes away with it. Blocked out of bounds, though,
yeah,
by Armstead.
I'm not for sure really what she was. I'm sure she was hoping to draw a foul there, but she wasn't a very good shot selection right there.
And for Coach Barry, I mean, he slowed it down a little bit and getting some nice shots, and he's cut this lead. Well, now it's 11, or he's cut the lead to 11, I should say. But this is a different Sand Springs team than we had in the first half, it seems like.
Well, they come out after halftime with a vengeance and a little bit of fire, and that's something you like to see from them, because they could have easily just laid down and said, we're done for the night. But
Nelson can't get the 3 to go there. Kirkendall comes away with it. Now up ahead, Armstead, she's going to pull up for 3, and splash! Armstead with the big splash there. And the lead is now 8. Now to Nelson. Nelson drives the lane, and she's going to take over, and Nelson comes back.
This is the Nelson and Armstead show right now.
Right now, Coach Redmond calls a timeout. We'll take a timeout as well. 33-23, 2:35 remaining in the third. We're back after this. Quickly go, Casey, give us an out-of-town score. I believe Bedlam's underway. What do you got for me?
Yeah, the number 7 ranked Sooners are up 23-22 right now with just about over 6 minutes left in the first half.
Now Sand Springs back to this game, has cut the lead. Well, it's 10 now, thanks to Kaylin Nelson's nice little turnaround jumper. And there she is. She gets the rebound, pushes it up to Malum. 3-on-3 if she hurries, and she'll pull it up. Now she drives the lane. Floater can't go, and there's Kirkendall again with another block. Now Malum won't be denied. Kirkendall just going crazy right now. Kirkendall for sure, and she's come out and seems like a different player this half.
Yeah, she's finally starting to throw her weight around and making her presence known. In the first half, she didn't seem like herself and just kind of not necessarily set underneath the rim, but she let, like a Jordan Connor out rebound her, and that's something that shouldn't happen whenever you have a 4-inch reach on her. So it's good to see her come out and fighting and making her presence known.
Jackson checks back in for Coach Barry. Now Nelson will control the ball here. Trying to set up a little screen around Smith. She'll get it to Malum. Far side to Highshaw. Highshaw for 3. Can't get it to go, but there's Nelson with the rebound, and she'll put it back up. She can't get it to go. And there's Connor with a rebound, and she's going to go to the floor and get charged with a foul. And for once, Coach Redmond's not very happy with that one. And this is turning into quite an entertaining game.
Yeah, that's Connor's second foul, but both of her fouls this game are 2 that you can live with, because hers aren't, little ticky-tack fouls that she doesn't deserve. Hers are her fighting, and you like to see it.
And she's fighting against a junior that's 6'2" and has finally come to play. As we mentioned her name, she throws it back. Now Armstead for 3, can't get it to go there. Nelson can't get the rebound. They will get it back to Armstead. I'm not too sure why that wasn't a double dribble, but she'll go to the line and shoot 2. Sydney Smith will pick up her 3rd foul. As Janiyah Hendricks will check back in here in just a second. She has a seat on the floor. And now she checks in. Aubrey Highshaw has his, I lied. TK Pitts checks back in for Sydney Smith. And Janiyah Hendricks has a seat. Okay, thanks, Coach Redmond. Appreciate that. Your help there. Jordan Connor pushes the ball up. I have to ask him about that later.
Psychological game.
Can't play with an old man like that. Now Nelson. Nelson turns, stops, jumper. Little 12-footer there, nice job. And Nelson's got 14, and now she's starting to take over. Now Armstead. Armstead drives, she pulls it back. They'll shoot the 3, can't get that to go. And Armstead will be charged, Armstead will step out of bounds, I'm assuming is what happened there. No charges or no fouls were charged, so.
You'd like to see Kirkendall time that a little bit better. She kind of caught that on her descent instead of catching it at the high point. that's one of those, if she catches that, she easily could put that back up and possibly come away with 2 points there.
The lead is 10 for Coach Redmond's girls. 25 seconds now. See if they go for a last second shot. Now Pitts, reach in, no call there. Pitts controls it though. Down to 13 seconds. Pitts, and she'll get charged. Patient Pierce will get charged with a foul. That's a lie. Darian Jordan will get charged with a foul. My apologies, Mom and Dad. That's her third foul as we're down to 8 seconds. Now Nelson. She's going to jump the three right here. Nope. She's going to try to drive it. Nice little turn jumper there. That's good. That counts at the buzzer. And Nelson's got 16 now. With 1 quarter remaining, Union's up by 12. We'll be back with fourth quarter action after this.
Finding your happy place is something special, and it's different for everyone. You probably already know where to find yours, and TTCU Federal Credit Union can help you get there. Right now, you can earn up to a $200 bonus when you open a new checking account with direct deposit. So wherever your happy place finds you, TTCU will meet you there. TTCU Federal Credit Union. Life is better in balance.
Welcome back. It's fourth quarter time here, the regional championship inside the UMAC. Thanks for joining us on the Union Sports Network alongside Casey Jordan. I'm Jim Douthit. And the lead is 12 for Union, but Sand Springs came out that second half and played like a team that knows they cannot lose.
Yeah, they came out and played like a team possessed, and you'd like to see that carry over here into this last fourth quarter. And if Armstead can continue dominating like she was, this could be a pretty close game by the end of it.
She throws up the errant shot that probably wasn't great, but Connor comes away with the basketball, and Union will set it up on this end of the floor. Now, both teams in the second half not shooting very well either. Union at 35% and Sand Springs at just under 40 at 38%. So neither team shooting very well, but it was better than the first half. There's Nelson again along the baseline, and she's got 18 now. 18 of the 39 are labeled with Kaylin Nelson's name on it.
She's come out in this second half and said, I'm going to show you why I'm going to Old Dominion, and I'm going to take over, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Now Wilson. Wilson looking for a lane there. She can't find it. She'll hand it off. Sand Springs will work at far side. Now back top of the key. Drive there. Ball will be out of bounds. Highshaw will get charged with a foul, her third foul. Darian Jordan will shoot 2. Happy to see, as you mentioned earlier, Darian Jordan back in the game after what seemed to be a pretty painful injury here at the end of the second quarter, I should say. Sydney Smith checks back in. Aubrey Highshaw will have a seat to a nice applause from the bench.
Yeah, it's good to see her back out there. You don't know if it's a situation where if she's feeling better or if she's just, toughing it out and playing through it. But either way, it's good to see her out there.
Typically we would say, Casey, that this time of year, playoffs and all, everybody's sore, everybody's beat up in some form or fashion. But gosh, most of the teams in Oklahoma have had 2 weeks off at least.
Yeah.
And that's time to heal.
Time to heal, but, we're also talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. Their recovery is a little bit better than ours.
It's true. It's a good point. Speaking of that, while I got a second, I want to tip my hat to Fleet Feet. I got to running the Sweetheart Run this morning, and Fleet Feet did a great job. There was about 480 runners, and Andy Irwin set a record time. So our producer director set a record time as he ran it in 26:51, 5K in 26:51. Not bad for an older gentleman. I won't say his age, but was proud of him for that. But Fleet Feet in downtown Tulsa, great job today. We appreciate you getting that pulled off for those of us that like to run. Now back to basketball. 5:53 here. Sand Springs working the far side. Coach Berry directed a little bit of traffic, and there's a reach in on Malum. Boy, she didn't really want to do that, but she's going to get charged with a foul. That'll be 16 fouls now on Coach Redmond's squad, and that's not something you want to see. Ball almost thrown away there. Nice hustle by Jordan to keep it in. Three won't go, and Malum will hustle to the ball, but I think that ball is going to be out of bounds and awarded back to Union, as that ball was off Haley Jackson. Okay, full disclosure, since our producer director just texted me, Andy Irwin didn't run today. I got to run for Andy Irwin because he's had an MRI. His knee's hurt. I was just trying to give our producer director a little love, saying that he set all kinds of records. So it was a personal best for me, I will tell you that as well.
Toot, toot.
Yes, yes. So
Nothing wrong with that. It's good to have an accomplishment.
yeah, I got out of bed. Sometimes that's an accomplishment. You know. 5:09 remaining here in the fourth. 39-26, Union now top by 13. As Corey Wilson brings it up, she'll hand it off to Jordan. Jordan will put it on the floor and look around, survey the floor. Jackson to Jordan, back to Wilson. Now Wilson drives baseline, tries to dish it out. Jordan with the steal. Jordan, Smith, Nelson. Nelson's going to push it. Nice bounce pass to TK. TK gets it up. Can't get it to go. Smith with the rebound and in. A lot of ins and outs tonight, but Sydney there with a nice rebound in the bucket. And 15 is the lead for Union now with 4:31 remaining. A couple of the fans behind us asking their team to move around a little bit, and boy, they did seem kind of statuette there, if you would, Casey. They didn't seem like they wanted to move very much. Try to get open. Can't stand around and expect anything good to happen. Nice bucket there. Haley Jackson with a nice bucket. And the lead is 13, and there's a timeout on the floor. And so we'll take a timeout as well. It's the regional championship here on the Union Sports Network.
For more than 50 years, Central States Orthopedics and Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center have been the area's leading orthopedic and sports medicine providers. And now, we've joined forces as Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. One name, one focus. Excellent orthopedic and sports medicine care. Together, we serve as the team physicians for almost every high school and university in the region. We are the area's leading expert for work-related injuries, and our surgical hospital is the only 5-star rated hospital in Tulsa. Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. Come see why we're better together.
Welcome back. It's 4:07 remaining here in this regional championship game. Union up by 13. But Sand Springs is not going away quietly. The Lady Sandites are pushing Union, as we would expect in a regional championship game.
Yeah, you know they could have just laid down and said we're going to go home and be done with it, but they decided to have time, make some adjustments, and come out shooting and come out ready to play. So it's good. You know, they got about 4 minutes left to try to continue to close that gap. So you hope to see them keep fighting.
And they've got plenty of time. A 13-point lead with 4 minutes is not a big deal, especially in high school basketball. But without a shot clock, that's another thing, too, to think about. We've talked about that before. They could just pass it around, and that's what Union's doing right now. They're just playing keep away, really. And they're doing a pretty good job of it right now, as they have spread the floor out, as all 5 players are all in just about every corner of the floor as possible. Now Smith. Smith will put it on the floor. She'll give it to Nelson. 3:11 now, and they've held onto the ball for just about a minute. Now it's a minute. Now Nelson inside to Smith. Smith makes a nice little move and gets it to go. Now, if you can burn a minute a clock and come away with 2 points, there's no way Sand Springs can catch up now.
No, that was a beautiful possession. It's, it's very, shouldn't say rare, because, it's in the shot clock era, at least with college and NBA, you can't burn a minute like that and come away with points. So that was a very good possession there for Union.
And then Sand Springs went down, didn't get the shot that they wanted. And so Sand Springs is going to be charged. Jordan Connor will get charged with the foul. And Sand Springs will shoot the 1-and-1. 2:41 now remaining. Lead is 15 for Union. Now, let's think ahead. If Union's able to hang on to this, and there's a lot of basketball left, so I don't want to try to jinx anything. What, Casey, is Coach Redmond going to talk to his girls about leading into that area championship game that would be Thursday here?
It's one of those that continue the defensive pressure, continue the defensive hustle. Offensively, it just wasn't their night. That's something that happens from time to time. I know they got 43 points, so it's hard to say that they didn't have a good night offensively, but, shooting-wise, they didn't. So that will come, but as long as they can keep up their defensive effort and defensive consistency, they're going to be a very tough team to beat.
And it's something that they didn't do when they lost to Edmond North, where they weren't able to keep that defensive pressure. And Edmond North figured out a way to break that defense. So Malum will take it out. She'll get it into Smith. 2:08 now remaining. The lead is 14. Connor and Pitts. Smith, Malum, and Nelson on the floor for Coach Redmond. Now Smith. Now inside to Pitts. Pitts driving the baseline. Up ahead to Connor, and boy, she got hacked. She'll go to the line and shoot 2. Connor got destroyed by Darian Jordan. Jordan Connor was left all alone underneath the basket.
Yeah, that definitely wasn't an egregious foul, but it was a little bit of a frustration foul.
So girls slow pitch softball, check it out, Casey, starts Thursday, March 4th. With the first pitch at 5:30 at the newly renovated softball fields at the Union Baseball and Softball Complex. That's located behind the Freshman Academy, so the girls will take on Enid. And again, that first pitch is at 5:30 Thursday, weather permitting. I saw there's rain in the forecast, so I'm hoping Coach Morgan and the girls from Enid don't get rained out on that deal. 3 there, rebound. Sand Springs comes away with it. They'll throw the ball up, but Sydney Smith with the block. Partial, and she'll come away with a basketball. Now Sydney pushes it up to Nelson. 1:33 now. Nelson going to the paint. She'll take the little jumper, can't get it to go. And there's Connor almost getting another rebound. Kirkendall comes away with it. And up comes Wilson. That's going to be short. TK will get the rebound, and she'll just slow it down. Put it on the floor and give it to Malum. 1:11, 1:10 now remaining. And I think we're going to play keep away for the last last minute.
Yeah, you necessarily don't want to foul one of their better free throw shooters, so you hope it goes into someone that you can get to the line and hopefully get the ball back. But Union's going to be smart and try to keep it in TK, McKenzie, or Kaylin's hands.
There's Malum. Malum guarded closely by this freshman, and I tell you what, if we get to stick around the next few years, every time Sand Springs comes to play, that young lady in Sakari Wilson, that'll be fun to watch her grow up in Coach Berry's system.
Yes, it will.
She's a lot of fun to watch. foul to give there with Sand Springs, so they did it, and there's another foul. Oh, I lied. I guess they had a couple to give, so they did it. 31 seconds now remaining. Ball inbounds to Smith. Smith gets double teamed there, but she's up underneath, and I think she was fouled prior to the pass. So here's what is at stake. If Union goes on, they would be your regional champions, and they would take on the winner of the Bixby Regional. And that will be right here Thursday evening. Times are to be announced. But we will be able to bring it to you here on the Union Sports Network as TK Pitts tips it away, and that was a great job by her. TK with a hustle, and she got it away. Now Malum will get it. And the foul be charged to Bailey Cheney. And I'm not 100% sure that Cheney wanted her to foul. That's what the ref is talking to her about. That was definitely a ticky-tack foul. I know you're smiling about it, but
Yeah.
McKenzie doesn't get it to go.
That looked like me and my son fighting.
Mackenzie Malum gets charged with a foul. And Wilson will go to the line and shoot 1 and 1. 44-29 with 14 seconds remaining. So here's the deal, one more time. Union hangs on. They're going to play the winner of the Bixby Regional. That will be right here, and we'll bring it to you live right here on the Union Sports Network. That'll be Thursday night. You can follow at Union_athletics for that time, because right now we don't have that time. We are unsure when that game will start. So, Coach Morgan, if you're listening, I will not be in attendance for girls softball opening night against Enid, because I will be here with you, Casey, and we'll be watching our girls play for an area championship and a shot at going to the state tournament, which everybody dreams of if you're playing a high school sport.
The big house.
Yep. Connor goes to the line, shoots the 1 and 1. Malum, Nelson, Pitts, and Smith, along with Jordan Connor on the floor for Coach Redmond to close out the last 12.9 seconds here of the fourth quarter. Jordan 6-1, 45-31. So again, Casey, we'll talk about it. Love their defense. Don't be too frustrated about your offense, because the offense will come.
Yeah, it's everybody has a bad night, and it's one of those deals to where defensively, if you're getting the job done, you can live with it. A win's a win. It doesn't matter if it's pretty, if it's ugly. It's a W at the end of the night. So the offense will come back. Just keep up the defensive intensity, and that's what you want.
Sakari Wilson with a nice way to finish for Sand Springs, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Union wins the regional championship, and as we will take you to center court here and turn it over to Tyler for just a second and let him talk as they get the regional championship trophy. Coach Barkley, Emily Barkley, our AD, will ask the girls to join at center court so they can get a picture of the ladies and their trophy. And that's exciting. So here's what will happen. One more time, Union defeats Sand Springs by a score of 46-33. They are your regional champions. Will take on the winner of the Bixby Regional. That game will take place right here at the UMAC Thursday evening, and we'll have it live for you on the Union Sports Network, but we would love for you guys to come out. So that'll be right here streaming on the Union Sports Network. So let's wrap it up. For our camera crew, Jacob and Jerome, our producer director, Andy Irwin, and the best color guy once again in Oklahoma, and Casey Jordan, I'm Jim Douthit. That's your final. Union's your regional champions, and we'll see you Thursday night. Good night, everybody.